If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Heather, and as always, I'm reading with a vengeance, and I hope you are too. Yes, this is becoming a habit. I have another haul. It has become a habit for me to check the damage box at work and also check the ARC shelves at work. And I accumulate books. What can I say? If you're an OG, by the way, thank you for coming back. And if you're new to my channel, very warm welcome to you. But if you are an OG, you know that I don't buy books very often. I love my library. I love little free libraries. I love trading with friends. But with working at a bookshop, an independent bookshop, we have two areas that make it super easy to accumulate books. We get ARCs all the time from publishers, and we have free reign to those ARCs. And as a matter of fact, one of kind of the requirements for working at the shop is reading at least one ARC a month and reviewing it on a website called Edelweiss. So it's a really, really great perk. And also when we receive damaged books or books get damaged out on the floor, we put them in a box to be donated. Once I take a book out of that donation box, I put it back in the donation box when I'm done. I think it's a great thing that the bookstore does. But again, accumulating books becomes that much more easy. And that's why I have another haul video for you. So without further blather from me, let's talk about the books that I have accumulated most recently. First up is City on Fire by Dawn Winslow. I discovered this author. I read one of those free short stories on Audible. The short story I read was called Deep Hole. It was a decent short story. I mean, I didn't love it, but I did really like the writing, and it made me look for more by this author. And I noticed this in our damage box, and I recognized the author, and I thought, why not? This is a first in a series. I believe it's called the Danny Ryan series. Yep, it's the Danny Ryan series. This is going to be a crime thriller. He also wrote a trilogy called the Cartel Trilogy, The Power of the Dog, The Cartel, and The Border. I hadn't heard of those, much less read them. Stephen King has a blurb on here. He says, "Superb, City on Fire is exhilarating." So of course I had to pick it up. And while I don't read a ton of series, I get excited when I find one that I really enjoy. For instance, I'm just now getting into the Cork O'Connor series by William Kent Kruger, which I'm really enjoying. I've only read the first two, but I have the third one on hold. So anyways, yeah, I'm super excited to get into this one. So this says, two criminal empires together control all of New England. So that alone is intriguing to me since I lived in Connecticut for 6 years. Until a beautiful woman comes between the Irish and the Italians, launching a war that will see them kill each other, destroy an alliance, and set a city on fire. Danny Ryan yearns for a more legit life and a place in the sun, but as the bloody conflict stacks body on body and brother turns against brother, Danny has to rise above himself. To save the friends he loves like family and the family he has sworn to protect, he becomes a leader, a ruthless strategist, and a master of a treacherous game in which the winners live and the losers die. From the gritty streets of Providence to the glittering screens of Hollywood to the golden casinos of Las Vegas, two rival crime families ignite a war that will leave only one standing. The winner will forge a dynasty. Exploring the classic themes of loyalty, betrayal, and honor, City on Fire is a contemporary masterpiece in the tradition of The Godfather, Casino, and Goodfellas. All three movies I love. So hopefully I can get to that soon. So this next one I think is going to be one that a lot of you will be excited for. This is an ARC, and it's not going to be published until August, but that is Just Another Missing Person by Gillian McAllister. Gillian McAllister wrote Wrong Place, Wrong Time, which has been on my TBR. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'll probably read that before I read this one. But I saw the ARC and I had to snatch it up. There's a man out there. His weapon isn't a gun or a knife. It's a secret. Olivia, 22 years old, no history of running away, last seen on CCTV, entering a dead-end alley and not coming back out again, missing for 1 day and counting. Julia, the detective heading up the case, she knows what to expect, a desperate family, a ticking clock, and long hours away from her daughter. But Julia has no idea how close to home this case is going to get because her family's safety depends on one thing. Julia must not find out what happened to Olivia and must frame somebody else for her murder. What would you do? So yeah, this one comes out in August. I'm probably not going to get to it before it gets published, but in fact, I don't even think I've read this author yet. Now I have 2 books on my TBR from her. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but I'm super happy to get my hands on this one. Have you guys read Gillian McAllister? What do you guys think of her? I'd love to know. Let me know. So this next one was on our ARC shelf, but it's been published since I picked it up, and I've been super excited about this one, and I'll tell you in just a second why. But this is Sing Her Down by Ivy Pochoda. I love this cover. I think it's beautiful. Since having this and since it's been published, I've noticed on Goodreads that the average rating is not great, but I'm still super excited about it. The catchphrase that made me take this off the ARC shelf is "No Country for Old Men" meets Killing Eve. Okay, in this gritty Western thriller from the award-winning author of These Women. I haven't read this author yet, but this one sounds really, really good, even though it says Western. I don't read Westerns, what the heck? But still, Florence, Florida Baum is not the hapless innocent she claims to be when she arrives at the Arizona women's prison, or so her ex-cellmate, Dios Mary Sandoval, keeps insinuating. Dios knows the truth about Florida's crimes, understands the truth that Florence hides even from herself, that she wasn't a victim of circumstance, an unlucky bystander misled by a bad man. Dios knows that darkness lives in women too, and she is determined to open Florida's eyes despite the world's refusal to see it. And she is determined to open Florida's eyes and unleash her true self. When an unexpected reprieve gives both women their freedom, Dios's fixation on Florida turns into a dangerous obsession, and a deadly cat-and-mouse chase ensues from Arizona to the desolate streets of Los Angeles. So Sing Her Down is a spellbinding thriller setting two indelible women on a path to certain destruction and an epic, stunning showdown. So yeah, I'm not going to listen to Goodreads on this one. I mean, I rarely do. If I truly have an interest in reading a book, I'm not going to let like the average rating on Goodreads deter me. Also not really doing well on bestseller lists or whatever, but I am intrigued by this one. I'm excited to read it, and I'm super glad I got my hands on it. This next book I found in the damage box, and I only really noticed it because I saw a booktuber talk about it recently. I can't remember who it was though. I wish I could so that I can shout them out. But that is Factory Girls by Michelle Gallen. Never heard of this book, have not heard of this author, much less read them. It says author of Big Girl Small Town. Yeah, I don't know. And this cover, look at this cover. It's so fun. What do we have on there? We have an iron, a CD, a soda can, and a bra, some broken glass, and a thing of lipstick. So I love it when a paperback has these guys. I love that. I don't know why. And it's got that waxy feel. So yes, it was just a win-win all the way around. A funny, fierce, and unforgettable read about a young woman working a summer job in a shirt factory in Northern Ireland while tensions rise both inside and outside the factory walls. It's the summer of 1994, and all smart-mouth Maeve Murray wants are good final exam results so she can earn her ticket out of the wee Northern Irish town she has grown up in during the Troubles. She hopes she will soon be in London studying journalism away from her crowded home, the silence and sadness surrounding her sister's death, and most of all, away from the violence of her divided community. As a first step, Maeve's taken a job in a shirt factory working alongside Protestants with her best friends. But getting the right exam results is only part of Maeve's problem. She's got to survive a tit-for-tat paramilitary campaign, iron 100 shirts an hour all day, every day, and deal with the attentions of Handy Andy Strawbridge, her untrustworthy English boss. Then, as the British Loyalist marching season raises tensions among the Catholic and Protestant workforce, Maeve realizes something is going on behind the scenes at the factory. What seems to be a great opportunity to earn money turns out to be a crucible in which Maeve faces the test of a lifetime. Seeking justice for herself and her fellow workers may just be Maeve's one-way ticket out of town. Bitingly hilarious, clear-eyed, and steeped in the vernacular of its time and place, Factory Girls tackles questions of wealth and power, religion and nationalism, and how young women maintain hope for themselves and the future during divisive, violent times. This might be what I was looking for in a certain other popular book that I have read and talked to you about that dealt with the Troubles in Northern Ireland. This might be what I was looking for in that book that I didn't quite get. So here's hoping for that. Not to mention also, you know, a strong woman dealing with women issues and dealing with it with her friends in a crazy environment. So I'm really, really excited by this one. And this one might be bumped up my TBR list because it's not even that long. It's less than 300 pages long. Yeah, this might be an August read for me. So have you guys read this? I usually ask this question at the end of my videos, but Every time I talk about a new book, I want to know, what do you guys think? Okay, I'll talk about this one next. I don't want to end with it because, I mean, who wants to end on books that have been talked about ad nauseum on Booktube? Yeah, I succumbed to the hype when I saw this in the damage box, and that is Emily Henry's Happy Place. I think I had a very similar experience the last book haul video I did, in where I found Book Lovers in the damage box and I picked it up. So now I have Happy Place. And while it was in the damage box, the damage is super minimum, and I feel like I get very lucky when I get an edition of a book like this. Even though I'm not a huge fan of reading hardcover, I couldn't turn this one down. So you guys have probably watched all kinds of videos talking about this book. Emily Henry is everywhere. She continues to be everywhere. I have only read People We Meet on Vacation. I enjoyed it, but if you know, I don't gravitate towards romance. I am looking forward to reading Beach Read, because that seems to be like a favorite of Emily Henry fans. And I'm also looking forward to Book Lovers because of the content of the publishing world and writers and all of that. And if I'm going to read 3 out of 4 books, I might as well read the 4th book, right? Anyways, what was I saying before I got distracted? Oh yeah, you guys have probably already heard enough about this book, but I'm going to read the inside flap anyways, just in case you need a reminder. Think of your happy place. Harriet and Wynne have been the perfect couple since they met in college. They go together like salt and pepper, honey and tea, lobster and rolls. Except now, for reasons they're still not discussing, they don't. They broke up 5 months ago and still haven't told their best friends, which is how they find themselves sharing a bedroom at the main cottage that has been their friend group's yearly getaway for the last decade. Their annual respite from the world, where for one vibrant, blissful week they leave behind their daily lives, have copious amounts of cheese, wine, and seafood, and soak up the salty coastal air with the people who understand them most. Only this year, Harriet and Wynne are lying through their teeth while trying not to notice how desperately they still want each other, because the cottage is for sale and this is the last week they'll all have together in this place. They can't stand to break their friends' hearts, and so they'll play their parts. Harriet will be the driven surgical resident who never starts a fight, and Wynne will be the laid-back charmer who never lets the cracks show. It's a flawless plan if you look at it from a great distance and through a pair of sunscreen-smeared sunglasses. After years of being in love, how hard can it be to fake it for 1 week in front of those who know you best? I will get to this eventually. I don't know. We'll see. It probably won't be the very next Emily Henry book I read. I really want to read Beach Read next, even though I think that's the only book that I don't have in my possession. Who knows? Maybe this will be one of those authors, once I read all of her books, maybe I'll rank them and kind of have an outsider's view of someone who doesn't really read romance on the regular. I don't know. Would that be a video you guys would like to see? I think that would be fun for me, but then I have to read those books first, so hopefully soon. And finally, this next book is an ARC, although it's been published since I picked up the ARC, and that is Crow Mary by Kathleen Grissom. Kathleen Grissom wrote The Kitchen House, which I absolutely loved, but it's been a hot minute since I read that. And I think that's the only book I've read by her. So anyways, when I saw the author on this, that's what piqued my interest first, because I knew I recognized the author, and when I saw that she wrote The Kitchen House, then I grabbed this. And this one does sound intriguing. It's got a blurb by Sadiqa Johnson, who wrote The Yellow Wife. The blurb says, "The strength and sheer bravery of Crow Mary will stay with me for a long time." In Montana in the summer of 1872, Crow Mary marries Abe Farwell, a white fur trader, and accompanies him to his trading post in the Cypress Hills of Saskatchewan, Canada. In the spring of 1873, they are preparing to return to Montana when they witness the Cypress Hills Massacre, in which 40 innocent Nakota are killed by a drunken gang. Following the massacre, Crow Mary single-handedly rescues 5 Nakota women who are being held captive and abused by the gang. Thus, she sets off a whirlwind of colliding cultures that brings out the worst and best in the cast of unforgettable characters and pushes the love between Farwell and Crow Mary to the breaking point. Inspired by the life of the real Crow Mary and endorsed by her great-granddaughter, Crow elders, and Crow scholars, this is an epic love story that sweeps across decades, showcases the beauty of the natural world, and probes the intimacies of a marriage and one woman's heart. So yes, this sounds super intriguing. I typically don't gravitate towards historical fiction surrounding Native American lore, and that's not to say that it's not worthy of my attention. It's just not something I gravitate towards. But this one appeals to me just because I know that I like Kathleen Grissom's writing and would recommend it if you haven't read it. So I think her writing alone is going to make this story that much better for me. And who knows, it might inspire me to read more about Native American history. So I am excited about this one. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to it, but I am super grateful that I got my hands on it. And since it is already published, have you guys read this yet? Of course, I want to know. What do you think? So that's it. That's my latest haul. Just FYI, I have started shopping for shelves. So that's going to be happening sometime in the foreseeable future. I wouldn't say soon, but it's in the works. I will have shelves installed at some point. So I'm pretty sure these haul videos are going to be kind of a regular thing, which is, I don't know, as far as being a reader, it might be overwhelming to have so many books in my possession. So we'll see how that goes. However, I do know that it's fun for you guys to see book hauls and new books that are coming out. And I'm enjoying making these videos and talking about these new books that I'm getting my hands on. And even though I asked the question at least 5 times in this video, I'll ask it again. Have you read any of these books? Which books are you excited about? And which one would you want me to read first and talk to you about? Please let me know, or you could just say hi down in the doodly-doo. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're still watching at this point, please consider giving that like button a boop, and a subscribe would be wonderful. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.